with disguises and stuff like that. Brady's able to distinguish what we're in really easily sometimes, and that just helps us and lets us know that we need to do a better job, obviously, at disguising that coverage and what we're doing. As far as going against Chris and Mike, it always helps you with that. They're the two best receivers in the league, in my opinion, and it's like going against them should make going against everybody else a lot easier. So we just have to, go 100% in on those, and hopefully it pays off.
Okay, next up's going to be Jenaline.
Hey, Sean, to that effect, is there a particular play or plays that stand out to you where, maybe Brady did get the best of you, but you learned something from those? You learned something from going against him in that situation?
Yeah, a lot of my cover twos, just me being an inside at nickel, obviously they send a lot of things in front of me and bait me to jump those things. And there was one particular play yesterday where I'm pretty sure there was a curl that stopped right in front of me, but there was a dig behind me, and he pumped me on the curl. So he kind of brought me up because I'm going off of his throw. So he pumped me on the curl and threw it right over my top. So that was kind of one of those plays where I have to be kind of smart and consistent and read my keys properly.
What about the things that he does with his eyes? You mentioned the pump fake, but I know Mike Edwards was saying, man, like he loves to look off safeties and stuff. How good is he at manipulating defenses with his eyes, and how can that help you as you prepare for a guy like Drew Brees?
Yeah, he doesn't, like Mike said, he looks you off a lot. He doesn't really give you his first read right away. He scans the field, and you can see that, as a nickel, you can see him scanning the field, scanning everything that he has. So you can't really get a good read on him and a good jump on him like you really want to.
Okay, next up is going to be Luke Easterling.
Sean, you made it a point to bulk up this offseason, to put on, a little bit of a good weight and get more physical. But I think some people, could be concerned with loss of speed and athleticism. Now that you're on the field, now that you're able to kind of test that out, how do you feel, and just how excited are you to be a more physical player this season?
Oh, I feel good. I feel, stronger than I've ever felt before. For the most part, it's more so just getting back into the groove of playing football and getting back into the groove of, covering receivers and using my fluidity and my quickness to my advantage. For at the end of the day, I vouch to be physical at all times. And as far as in the run, I want to be able to fit more in the run and be more effective in the run support when we are in sub packages. And so putting that weight on and bulking up only helped me.
Okay, next up is going to be Mark Cook.
Hey, Sean, obviously last year you kind of found your place as the team's nickel corner. You guys kind of solidified things with you and Carlton and Jamel on the field at the same time. Do you see that as your role this year? Or are you getting more reps, maybe working on the outside some more? Are you competing for that job? And where do you see yourself when you guys head to New Orleans week 1?
Yeah, we're competing each and every day. Me, Carlton, Jamel, a lot of other guys in the room. I mean, every day is a competition, and we don't go in there thinking that our job's secured. We don't go in there thinking that everything's going to be handed to us. So obviously, if I get beaten out, then I get beaten out. If Dean gets beaten out, then he gets beaten out, and so on and so forth. And so each and every day, we just go in with the mindset of just competing and always competing to the best of our ability.
Okay, next up is Greg Allman.
Hey, Sean, I know the top 4 corners are pretty set for you guys, but I want to ask you about the young guys that are battling for that last spot or two. Who, if anybody, has impressed you so far?
You're speaking with cornerbacks or with the entire defense?
Just the corners, yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah, just the corners. Parnell Motley's making a lot of plays, a lot of splash plays. As far as Herb Miller and Mazzy as well. And so in the meeting rooms, obviously, you guys don't get to see that. A lot of people don't get to see that, but they're all smart. They're all witty. They all know their responsibilities and what they have to do. And it's just a matter of obviously adding into that special teams role and being able to contribute on many different levels other than that cornerback. And obviously that's the coach's decision, and that's going to be up to the people above us. But I think they're all competing really well. They're all making plays, and they're all making an impact as far as in this training camp goes.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, next is going to be Rick Stroud.
Sean, how important was the preseason for you a year ago as a rookie just to get acclimated? And when you watch – Antoine Winfield, what jumps out at you about him?
To answer your first question, just as far as preseason goes, yeah, it was obviously important to me. I kind of got a welcome to the NFL moment in the first game, and I told you guys a story about BA coming into me on the plane. But it was definitely an eye opener. It made me, adjust to football really quickly. It made me adjust to the speed of the game really fast, as far as an NFL level. And I think Winfield is really, really good at that, and he's above, what everybody else thought. As far as his coming in, he plays fast. He's smart. He listens. He's very coachable, and he makes plays at the end of the day. And that's also all we want to do in the secondary is be playmakers to make plays. So that's what he does.
Thanks. Okay. Next up is going to be Mark Cook.
Hey, Sean, you guys had a rough go against the Saints last year. Michael Thomas, obviously one of the better receivers in the league, and now they've added Emmanuel Sanders. Talk about that Week 1 matchup and how tough it's going to be without preseason to go face Drew Brees and the Saints and those two receivers right out of the gate, and how you guys think you'll be better this year prepared for that than maybe you were last year.
Yeah, I mean, we're all, obviously striving for the same goal, and that's the Super Bowl. And I mean, they're one team that's in our way, and especially because they're in our conference, so we see them twice a year, and we have to go in with the mindset that we're going to win. Like I said, I feel like last year we didn't go into necessarily all of our games feeling like we were going to win, more so, just trying to win. And I feel like that's going to separate us a lot from what we were last year because our mindset is just to win. We don't have anything else. Our goal is to win. Our goal is to win championships, and our goal is to win every game, let alone just one. So we just got to keep preparing, keep being ready. We know they're going to be physical. We know they're going to throw the ball down the field. We know they're going to spread us out and use Kamara very wisely. But at the end of the day, Coach Bo is going to put us in the right positions. We just have to make the plays and be smart, keep our keys read, and do what we do.
Okay. Next up is going to be James Palmer.
Talking about how you go against, Mike and Chris and how they make you better each and every day. But just could you kind of talk specifically what it is about Chris and his skill set that makes him the receiver that he is from a DB perspective?
Yeah, definitely. Chris is really shifty. A lot of people probably don't think so because he's so big, but he's really shifty. He uses his speed very wisely because he can beat you over the top. But he's a very precise route runner with a wide radius, wide catch radius. And so you can think you have him covered for 10 yards and he gets open and makes the catch. You can think you got him tackled down and he'll bounce off your first tackle, bounce off your second tackle and get, 15, 20 extra yards. And that's just what Chris does. He's been doing it since college. When I was in college, I was able to watch him, how he was in college and doing the same things. And so, he's just a really, really good vet, a really good guy to go against. He takes care of his body very much, very properly. And he gives advice all the time. If I'm covering him a certain way, he'll tell me like, I read this because you did that and so on and so forth. And so he just makes me better each and every day, every time we practice against each other, every time we go against each other, he just makes me a better player.
Thanks, Sean.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. Next is going to be Jenna Lane.
Sean, we talked a few moments ago about how Brady kind of got the best of you, but you guys had a red zone period today where it started with Levante's pass breakup, then Pernell Motley had a PBU. So what does it do when you guys have those moments where, you guys are able to win, especially going against a guy like him? What does that do for your young group?
It builds confidence. And, we have to play with high confidence, especially as a secondary. Because confidence is everything, really. If you don't have any confidence, you're not going to make a lot of the plays that you think you're going to make. But that's kind of what you have to have, that swagger. You have to have that confidence to be the defensive back that you want to be and to stay on top and be, consistent. And so I'm obviously making plays on him. It's like everybody's, hyped up and everybody's, happy about it and excited about it because it's the GOAT you're going against. It's not, just a regular person, a regular quarterback. But it's a guy that's won, 6 championships. And so it brings confidence. It brings intensity. And it lets you know that you can make that play against anybody if you can make it against him.
And you also mentioned that you talked to Chris Godwin. Have you had any conversations with Brady about some of the things that he's seeing when he lines up against you that have helped you?
Definitely. And those things, I've had conversations with him about that, during the summertime. He's just always obviously critiquing me and helping me on my leverages and telling me, obviously, I can show more and show more and show less in this certain coverage because he's not reading me per se. So he's definitely helping me out in my leverages and my coverages, and really telling me where his reads are and how he's scanning a defense.
Thank you.
All right. Our last question is going to come from Luke Easterling.
Sean, we talked to you earlier this offseason about the advantage of being in the same defense this year, especially with the weird offseason that we've had, and especially for that young core of DBs back there to not have a new scheme to go through, to have the same coaching staff. now that you've had a little bit of time to actually test those results in a football atmosphere, especially against Tom Brady and Mike and Chris and that offense, one of the best in the NFL, does that give you guys even more confidence? Do you see the results of the fact that you're able to feel comfortable and play faster because you're not thinking as much because that scheme and everything is still in place from last year?
Yeah, definitely. As far as, like you said, just to add on to what you said, it makes it a lot easier. You know, when you know what you're doing and you know your responsibility and where you have to be, you can play a lot faster. And that's just being in the system for, another year and being able to add on to what we already did. So last year, obviously, we had certain plays and certain ways we had to do things. This year, we know what we have to do, so we can disguise it differently. We can show different things, but ultimately, we know that our responsibility would be something else. And it just makes a lot of things easier because we can move through, training camp and move through our playbook and our installs more quickly than we could last year, obviously, because we don't have to linger on, certain mistakes that we're consistently making. And so the main thing now is just to execute and just, be consistent, effort, attitude, and being accountable for one another.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks for taking the time, Sean.
Yes, sir. Thank you.